Alright, at this point what we're going to do is we're going to look at the mixing chamber, how to replace it, and how to inspect it. The one question everybody asks is, how long is my DiaLine going to last? And it's like anything else, there's no clear answer. But the one thing that will change is your cutting performance over time, and you'll know when it's time to inspect the head. Two things really that affect cutting performance inside the head. One is going to be the diamond, which we'll cover in another short video. But now what we're going to look at is the mixing chamber, which the role of the mixing chamber is to bring the abrasive in, mix with the stream, and go towards the top of the nozzle. The DiaLine mixing chamber also plays a critical role in the fact that it protects the diamond. And one of the reasons the DiaLine is so successful is because of the design and because it does protect the diamond, providing users quite a lengthy life on the diamonds. So what we're going to look at first is a new mixing chamber, and really what we're looking at, and we can see this from the top side down when the orifice is not inside the DiaLine, is the small hole. And what you really want to look for is just that perfect geometry, perfectly small hole, and the size of that hole I believe is about 20 thousandths of an inch there around. What you're going to notice here is a mixing chamber that has been in a head for some time. And really what you want to focus on is the irregularity of the hole and then the size of the hole relative to where it started. The larger the hole, the more access abrasive has to beat up the bottom of the diamond and obviously affecting the life. So this is a severely used mixing chamber, at which point you would definitely want to replace it. Okay, here's one that is halfway in between. And again, you got to ask yourself, is it worth the risk of running it and ruining that diamond, which obviously has a greater cost? Okay, this one here is marginal, and again, it's a personal choice if you want to try to extend the life of this device. So the easiest way to do this is going to be to unscrew your abrasive inlet tube. Let's take out our nozzle nut. Okay. Now, inside the cutting head, we are going to have our abrasive wear insert, at which point we're going to need to unscrew with the set screw here. It takes a 5/64 Allen key, and simply back that off ever so slightly. It won't take that much. And now what we're going to need to do is take a gauge pin. You want to use probably a 280 or less gauge pin. I typically use a 277, and we're going to slip that up in the bottom, and at which point we are going to put that on a hard surface. We're using a mat here, but it's nice to use a mat. You simply want to put your hands down and push, and what's going to pop out is going to be the diamond and the mixing chamber. Let's go over the procedure to install a new mixing chamber. So what we have is our cutting head that's been slightly used, okay? What we want to do now is we are first going to take, again with the red dot facing up, our diamond, put that into the cutting head, okay? At which point we're going to grab our adapter that we have and thread that down. You can do this hand tight or on a workbench and kind of tighten it down, but what we want to do is we want to set that diamond in that head, and at which point we are going to slide the mixing chamber from the nozzle side up, trying to align the inlet of the mixing chamber to the inlet of the abrasive hole, and simply tilt that head back till it sits. And you're going to see inside here, and it's hard to see with the camera, but you will see the angle of the abrasive. What I do is take my Allen key and I kind of turn that at the right point, at which point again our gauge pin is going to come in handy. We're going to press that against the mixing chamber bottom. Again, align it to the best of your ability, at which point we are going to tighten our set screw in the back of the head. Okay, ensuring not to over tight. There's a flat on that mixing chamber that the set screw will set into, so you really don't need to over tighten because the carbide is Rocktech 500, it is brittle. You don't want to, over tighten too much. Again, at that point, unthread this, and at which point your mixing chamber is set. And this is how you make sure the mixing chamber is set to the right depth. At this point, all you need to do is follow your standard procedures to put your cutting head back on your machine.